Robinson Crusoe. Written by Daniel Defoe, and published in 1719. This video is intended as a sneak peek at the novel, in its own words, through a collection of quotes.
The ship struck upon a sand, and in a moment, her motion being so stopped, the sea broke over her in such a manner that we expected we should all have perished immediately. It is not easy for anyone who has not been in the like condition to describe or conceive the consternation of men in such circumstances. We could not so much as hope to have the ship hold many minutes without breaking in pieces, unless the winds, by a kind of miracle, should turn immediately about. In this distress, the mate of our vessel laid hold of the boat, and with the help of the rest of the men, they got her slung over the ship's side, and getting all into her, let go, and committed ourselves, being 11 in number, to God's mercy and the wild sea. And now our case was very dismal indeed, for we all saw plainly that the sea went so high that the boat could not live, and that we should be inevitably drowned. A raging wave, mountain-like, came rolling astern of us, and plainly bade us expect the coup de grace. It took us with such a fury that it overset the boat at once, and separating us, as well from the boat as from one another, gave us not time hardly to say, "O God," for we were all swallowed up in a moment. Nothing can describe the confusion of thought which I felt when I sunk into the water. For though I swam very well, yet I could not deliver myself from the waves so as to draw breath. Seeing myself nearer the mainland than I expected, I got upon my feet, and endeavored to make on towards the land as fast as I could, before another wave should return and take me up again. The next wave, though it went over me, yet did not so swallow me up as to carry me away, and the next run I took I got to the mainland, where, to my great comfort, I clambered up the cliffs of the shore, free from danger, and quite out of the reach of the water. I was now landed, and safe on shore, and began to look up, and thank God that my life was saved, in a case wherein there was some minutes before scarce any room to hope. I walked about on the shore, lifting up my hands, and my whole being, as I may say, wrapped up in the contemplation of my deliverance, making 1,000 gestures and motions which I cannot describe, reflecting upon all my comrades that were drowned, and that there should not be one soul saved but myself. After I had solaced my mind with the comfortable part of my condition, I began to look round me to see what kind of place I was in, and what was next to be done, and I soon found my comforts abate, and that, in a word, I had a dreadful deliverance. For I was wet, had no clothes to shift me, nor anything either to eat or drink to comfort me. Neither did I see any prospect before me but that of perishing with hunger, or being devoured by wild beasts. All the remedy that offered to my thoughts at that time was to get up into a thick bushy tree like a fir, but thorny, which grew near me, and where I resolved to sit all night, and consider the next day what death I should die, for as yet I saw no prospect of life. When I waked, it was broad day, the weather clear, and the storm abated, so that the sea did not rage and swell as before. But that which surprised me most was, that the ship was lifted off in the night from the sand where she lay, by the swelling of the tide, and was driven up, almost as far as the rock, where I had been so bruised by the dashing me against it. And here I found a fresh renewing of my grief. For I saw, evidently, that if we had kept on board, we had been all safe. That is to say, we had all got safe on shore. And I had not been so miserable as to be left entirely destitute of all comfort and company. And I now was. The ship seeming to stand upright still, I wished myself on board, that at least I might have some necessary things for my use. And as I knew that the first storm that blew must necessarily break her all in pieces, I resolved to set all other things apart till I got everything out of the ship that I could get. I brought away all that one pair of hands could well be supposed capable to bring, though I believe verily, had the calm weather held, I should have brought away the whole ship piece by piece. And I must not forget that we had in the ship a dog and 2 cats, of whose eminent history I may have occasion to say something in its place. My next work was to view the country and seek a proper place for my habitation, and where to stow my goods to secure them from whatever might happen. I travelled for discovery up to the top of the hill, where, after I had with great labour and difficulty got to the top, I saw my fate, to my great affliction, that I was in an island, environed every way with the sea, no land to be seen except some rocks, which lay a great way off. I had a dismal prospect of my condition, for, as I was not cast away upon that island, without being driven, as is said, by a violent storm, quite out of the course of our intended voyage, some hundreds of leagues out of the ordinary course of the trade of mankind, I had great reason to consider it as a determination of heaven, that in this desolate place, and in this desolate manner, I should end my life.
This was an introduction to Robinson Crusoe, written by Daniel Defoe. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more book previews. Thank you and enjoy your reading.